Well. I am so excited to record today. We've got a lot to get into. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
How's the hair going?
My hair journey is going so well. I talked about this on Patreon, and I should really talk about it on the regular feed, but there are these new devices hitting the scene, everyone, which are basically like blow dryer brushes, but they don't blow air. They're just like hot brushes. And you can give yourself a blowout in under 3 minutes. It's incredible. And it has rescued me from my terrible haircut. I want to do a tutorial, even though I've never really wanted to be a hair tutorial girly, but I'm so passionate about this product. I feel like I need to bring it to the masses.
Is it damaging your hair?
It's not damaging your hair any more than an ordinary curling iron. Also, I will say the link to this exact product I use, which is life-changing, and truly, if you read the reviews, it's like blowout in 5 minutes. It's insane. Easiest way I've ever done my hair before, at the best. It is in the episode description. I'm putting that out there from the beginning. Please don't DM us. It's in the episode description. I'll put it on Instagram stories as well, but just visit the episode show notes for this link. Chandler, we cannot post an outfit, anything, if we don't post the link. We have to post things with the link, or else we will save ourselves a lot of time and answering individual DMs if we just provide the link up front.
You're exactly right. Thank you for already preempting those DMs. So in addition to having stunning hair, how was your weekend? What's the latest?
My weekend was so boring. So this month on Instagram for subscribers, I am doing a full walkthrough of my routine when it comes to wanting to drop a few pounds. Okay. I gained a few during the Kate Middleton saga in New York, eating one too many bacon, egg, and cheeses from Daily Provisions and going out to Fort Charles a few too many times. Okay. A few too many martinis. And anyway, I did the crime and I am doing the time now. All to say, I just did nothing. Like, I didn't go out with friends. I did nothing because I knew if I went out, it would derail the entire week worth of effort I had put in. And it's just like the grimmest reality.
No, it's impossible to try to actively lose weight, like white knuckling it, while also going out to dinner and socializing like normal. I mean, we've watched Heather Dubrow do or maybe it's not Heather Dubrow, but like, you know, when we look at Melissa Wood, it's always like, order the fish and a side of vegetables. And I'm sorry, I just don't want to live in that world.
First of all, I feel like I can't be that girly because most of the time when I'm indulging, it's with you and Courtney. And if I order steamed fish and vegetables and I don't partake in the food with everyone else, like Courtney would murder me.
Well, let me just also give you a little reality check. You're also going to want bites of our mac and cheese or whatever actually delicious things we order. And then we're going to bite your head off because we're going to be like, you said you didn't want anything. You said you were having your fish and vegetables.
It becomes a huge issue for everyone at the table if one person is not fully in the experience.
I mean, can we just say, though, something you are classically guilty of is pretending that you're not going to be hungry or that you don't want to eat some of the food that's, you know, going to be ordered and then eating it. Like, we'll send a group text for an order. Let me finish. Let me share with you my lived experience.
Okay.
We're in a group text. Hey, you know, it's 10:45, which is about the time Courtney and I like to start thinking about lunch. What do we want to eat? Where should we go? Courtney and I are actually going to spearhead this plan. Let's say we're ordering from Chick-fil-A. Lauren's going to say, I'm actually good. I'm not hungry. I don't need anything. Okay, fine. Oh, are you sure? Then now we've gotten so accustomed to this bullshit that we will say, are you sure, Lauren? Are you sure? Yeah, I'm good. We'll order the Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A will show up. Lauren will then creep up the stairs and scavenge for whatever, you know, she can get her little grimy, hungry mitts on.
The problem for me is that I don't want my own full meal. I would rather have a few bites of your food, and Courtney's food, because it's the perfect amount for me. 3 fries, 2 bites of a chicken sandwich, a swig of diet lemonade. I'm on my merry way to the next part of my afternoon. And by the way, I feel a lot lighter than the bitches who had the full sandwiches and fries and dip. Okay?
No, it's so sanctimonious. Like the text is like, I'm good. Don't worry about me.
No problem. And then I don't get the Venmo request either. Here's also the reality. I always know you guys will over order. And
That's
so
true.
I know that there's going to be enough for what I want. So I'm good. Everyone. Just order.
I don't know that I ever want to go to another meal with you again.
Okay. Back to what we were originally discussing. No, I actually feel like I am a people pleaser in restaurant environments, and I order, I indulge, I pay my part of the check. I'm a great person to go to dinner with.
Considering yourself a people pleaser for paying your part of the check. Your part of the check. I'm a people pleaser, everybody. I pay my restaurant bill.
I'm a people pleaser. I fulfill Venmo requests. I'm a people pleaser. I do not steal from my friends. Okay? When we go out to dinner, I don't low-key just have them put it on their card and not fulfill the Venmo request. I'm a people pleaser. This is what it's like to be a doormat. I'm Lauren. I'm a doormat. I'm the problem. Exactly. No, and so honestly, it's not even that. It's not even pleasing other people. It's about me. Like, I'm going out to dinner. I want to enjoy myself. I want the glass of wine. I want the starter. I want the dessert. I want it all, baby. I want it all.
Can I just say, I think it's also related to the fact that we don't have unlimited money. And I think it's a very rich person thing to only order extremely healthy when you go to delicious restaurants, because it's like this experience happens all the time. I'm going out to dinner 5 to 6 times a week. I'm going to always get exactly what I want. I'm just going to treat, the chef like my personal chef. But if I'm going out to a nice dinner, I'm going to want to order something great.
Exactly. It's like, I know that I probably go out to dinner 4 times a month, once a week max. So I'm not going to waste whatever $70 bill it's going to be at the end on the fish with cooked in no oil, okay, the vegetables with no butter, hold the salt. I'm not going to do that to myself. That's like self-flagellation. It actually reminds me, I'm glad you brought this up. It reminds me of this episode of Dr. and Mrs. Guinea Pig, hosted by Heather and Terry Dubrow. This is a vintage podcast, everyone, where they would talk about beauty procedures and health and lifestyle. Anyway, they were giving tips for how to order at Javier's. And it's so funny because they gave tips for basically like how to order if you go out to eat all the time, and how to order if you barely ever go out to eat, aka you're poor and not like them. And they're like, if this experience is a really big deal for you, Terry's like, just have the chips, just order them, just enjoy it, buddy, just enjoy it. Just like,
if this is to commemorate a life moment, enjoy the chips. If you have more than 6 figures in your bank account, go ahead and order the side of carrots dipped in the guacamole. Also, yes, it's like Javier's has some of the best chips and salsa. I'm sorry for their existence. That must be a tough one.
They're like, if this is your yearly meal out and you've been looking forward to it all year, there's no reason to order the celery sticks and loop the chips. Okay, Donna from Kansas, who made your way out, who's never seen the ocean before, just shovel a tortilla chip into your maw, Dorothy, Donna, whatever your name is. Enjoy, okay? You won't be talking to a server for another 365 days, so you might as well just fucking go for it. I was like, basically
life's too short.
Life's too short, baby.
Can I just say as well that chips and salsa, that is the best thing about living on planet Earth, in my opinion. It's one of the smallest, most simple, enjoyable pleasures that we can get our hands on these days in this part of the simulation. And I don't want to live in a world where I'm dipping carrot sticks into salsa or into guacamole. I don't know. I'm white.
I as well cannot stomach the idea. And so that is why I'm just like, pass. I'm out this weekend. I'm out of commission. I'm going to sleep at 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm logging everything and I'm just making some fucking progress. Okay. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's been my journey. How was your weekend?
Well, I'm sorry, but proud of you for sticking to the course and holding on strong to the iron rod. My weekend was good. It was breezy. I had my procedure on Friday and it was actually like quite easy and painless, I'll say. I, was in and out of there in 4 hours. The hospital was state of the art.
I do think that you should tell everyone that you because a lot of people didn't hear. We discussed this on Patreon, but Chandler did have her vagina freshened for, her wedding night.
For my wedding night. And I will have this done about 8 more times in between now and next year. Ben went with me. He's super supportive.
The doctor asked him just how he wanted it.
Ew. Jeez. Oh. Whew. No, everybody, that's not what happened. And I'm apologizing to any family members who are listening to this. What happened was that I found a mass in my breast and I had to get it removed. So I saw a surgeon and, within 2 weeks I was on the surgery calendar and I got it taken out on Friday morning. I got fully put under, which I felt like was kind of excessive, but I did enjoy it quite a lot because it's really like you're laying there on the table and then they put the little hooks into your nose. And within 5 seconds, my brain is just like, I don't know why I thought this was such a big deal. This is amazing.
I mean, truly, I feel like with enough drugs, any procedure could just be like a great opportunity to just, basically rip it, but in a hospital.
No, absolutely. And then like I woke up what felt like a millisecond later and, everything's good. It had been extracted, removed. It looked normal, thankfully. I don't have the official biopsy results back yet, but the doctor wheeled me back after the surgery and talked to Ben. Apparently I was lucid for this, but I have no recollection of it, which is a little scary. But she said that everything looked normal, but she was glad that they took it out. The reason why I ended up taking it out was actually due to the size. It wasn't causing me any pain, but because it was so big, it wasn't that big, but it was like a couple centimeters. And when they do a biopsy of something that's relatively large, they do basically the same size biopsy, no matter how big or small something is. And so you can't really trust a biopsy with a bigger, mass as well as you could if it was super small. So that being said, they took it out, and the doctor said this to me as she's prepping me. The surgeon, is kind of explaining why they're doing it. And she says, I can't tell you how many times like we look at something and it's not anything. And then a year later we take it out because it is something. So anyway, it's better for me to have taken this out. I do look a little bit like Frankenboob right now. But you know what? It's all going to be fine. It's just a scar. And yeah, so that was my weekend. I was just kind of like recovering. Ben was my nurse, so I was just kind of milking it.
Well, you deserve to milk it. I feel like no woman gets out of this life without some sort of scar on her boobs, whether it's exactly what you had done, whether it's getting gorgeous implants in, whether it's getting them out, whatever happens in life.
Right.
Almost all of us are going to have, honestly, like life is the accumulation of scars. And I'm not trying to be, torture poets in any way, but life, honestly, really, like I have a few scars these days and I can see some wear and tear, and it's just something that is normal. It is totally fine. You're going to be fine. It's just part of life.
Yeah, thank you. I definitely would be lying if I said I wasn't now a little bit annoyed or insecure about like having a mark on my, what were at one time unmarred breasts. But it is what it is. And, it's thankfully a part of my body that's not seeing as much the light of day as, Lauren's are, for example. So I'm okay with it.
I'm so sorry. When have my breasts ever been out?
I'm sorry. In any of your bikinis?
No, I feel like my upper region is always very chaste. Do you disagree?
Very chaste. Very
Yeah.
chaste.
It's not like I ever
That's
go
not
under
the word I
boob
would
and I
use.
barely have any cleavage. So I kind of feel like I always feel like my chest area is like a nothing burger. It's like completely a non-event.
Well, I would disagree.
But back to you. You're all good. You most likely everything is totally fine. And it was a precautionary operation. So we want to close the loop on that for people.
Closing the loop, as well as just like go get the stuff checked. I was talking to a friend yesterday who feels like she has some similar things. And I know it's really scary. And I definitely was more on edge the past month dealing with this, but I'm just so glad because I honestly wasn't planning on getting it checked anytime soon. And then after some encouraging from family and from Ben, I did. And I'm just so glad that now this monkey is off my back. And it's just, I don't know. It's just like stay up to date on your health stuff. Go to the doctor. If you have a suspicious feeling about something, like get it checked. It's just like life is really short and stay on top of it.
And never forget to live like you were dying. Thank you, Chandler. That was beautiful.
Once again, life is the accumulation of scars, everybody. Like Lauren said, it's our next merch drop.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's move on. We are so happy to know that you are 99.9% likely to be just A-okay. So you will live to co-host with me another day on this podcast. I was already putting out a Craigslist job ad for a co-host. I was already trying to feel my way around for your replacement. So I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore because that was going to be a lot of work.
I already knew that you were. I knew that you were already having ChatGPT, write the job description. Like you had ChatGPT write my well wishes for the morning of surgery. I got 5 lovely paragraphs from Lauren via ChatGPT, or from ChatGPT via Lauren. Really quick, I just want to share with you the well wishes that Lauren sent me the day of my procedure. Because everyone deserves a sister like this, who spends this much time thoughtfully thinking of a message, of, something to give me strength in these times. It was 6 paragraphs. Dear Chandler, As you prepare for your upcoming breast mass surgery, I want to take a moment to send you all my love, support, and strength. This journey you're embarking on may feel overwhelming, but please know that you are not alone. You have a whole army of love and prayers standing by your side, ready to uplift you every step of the way. I admire your courage and resilience as you face this challenge head on. Your strength inspires me every day, and I have no doubt that you will navigate through this with grace and determination. Not even halfway done. During this time, remember to be gentle with yourself. It's okay to feel scared or uncertain, but always hold on to hope and positivity. You are incredibly brave, and I believe in your ability to overcome any obstacle that comes your way. I'm just going to skip to the part where I knew it wasn't true, okay? Where I knew this was someone else. After the surgery, take all the time you need to rest and recover. Your well-being is the most important thing, and we'll be here to support you every step of the recovery journey. I knew that wasn't true. I knew I couldn't actually take that much time to rest and recover, because here we are recording, not even 5 days later.
I just feel like, personally, that's a gorgeous message. You got 5 paragraphs of support, okay, and of inspiration. And who am I to not rely on the greatest science and technology to help you in your emotional journey, aka relying on ChatGPT to send a message?
Absolutely. I mean, in the same way that I felt more safe and secure with the state-of-the-art New York Pres hospital, why shouldn't I also feel buoyed up by state-of-the-art well wishes?
How funny would it have been if you got out of surgery and you saw a call out on Instagram that was looking for someone who might be interested in part-time co-hosting the podcast with me and Chandler, looking for someone with a vivacious personality, a little bit of more conservative morals than me, ideally blonde, symmetrical, cute features,
someone to really step into the sister role.
Exactly. We're always here at Pop Apologist HQ preparing in case we have staff shortages. And so I just want to make sure our bases are covered for this very important podcast. Let's move on to media, celebrities, topics at hand. Okay. Did you watch the Ashley Madison documentary?
I did.
How good is this documentary?
Okay. I thought it was a solid documentary. I was not as gripped though, because I felt like this scandal happened a while ago, and I don't know. I didn't feel like there was a ton of new information, I suppose. But you loved it.
It wasn't the best documentary I've ever seen. In a little detour, everyone, I'm watching the Jinx Part 2 on HBO Max. I am obsessed with the Jinx Part 1. So are you. So is our mom. So is our sister. Everyone in our family. The Jinx Part 1 is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. I guess I kind of maybe overstated things when it comes to the Ashley Madison documentary. I just found it to be entertaining. And I did find that I learned quite a bit that I did not know, which is what I want to discuss with you today. It's the things we kind of unearthed in this Ashley Madison documentary. But before I do that, I do want to give a quick plug for the Jinx Part 2. Have you seen the Jinx Part 2?
I haven't watched it yet. Ben has never seen the Jinx Part 1, so we need to watch that together first.
If you are obsessed with the Jinx, you will enjoy the Jinx Part 2. I will say it's nowhere near as good as the Jinx Part 1, but it would be impossible for them, I think, to make another series as good as that. But for Jinx junkies, for Robert Durst junkies like me, it's so good. And episode 5 is insane. It's so good. Ugh. Yeah.
Okay.
So highly recommend that. And I do kind of want to do a whole Robert Durst deep dive on the pod. And I'm curious if people want that. So let us know if you do, or if we should leave it to Andrew Jarecki and the fine folks over at HBO. But back to Ashley Madison. It's a zig and a zag. Sorry, everyone. I want to talk with you about the new things we learned, because I personally felt like I should have known and I should have predicted that this site that was predicated on this idea of life is short, have an affair, and that there were all these men and women on it, I should have known that there actually were barely any women on it. And most of the women on it were fake.
No, that was absolutely crazy to me. And of course they were fake. Women aren't having as many affairs as men are. That is just a plain and simple truth of the world we live in.
Oh, absolutely. I also think that the way that women go about that is so different from men. I think, of course, there are people at each side of the bell curve, right? There are going to be women who were authentically on that site looking for sex. But again, I think that's going to be the vast minority. Most women who have affairs, they have it with like the dad at soccer practice who they struck up a conversation with or a friendship with, who paid extra attention to them, someone in the office. It starts like with an emotional relationship, and then that proceeds to a physical relationship. It's not something where like they're like going online purely for sex. I don't know. Maybe that I'm totally Serena Joying right now, but I just genuinely don't think that's the way women operate.
Well, it was very clear that the men who went on it didn't want to blow up their marriage, but they just wanted to scratch an itch.
Right, exactly.
And I don't think that's the way women operate when, you know, an affair takes place. It's like like you're saying, an emotional relationship begins. There's a need that is missing from their current relationship that they like discover with another person. Honestly, it's just not as fast and loose as men play it.
Right. And I think that, I don't know, it was just like such a moment of vindication for me. Like I was watching it and Kagan was in the room for part of it. And I was just like, yes, exactly. Women are the superior gender. Of course, there were barely any women on that. And to me, it's like so hilarious to think that there are all these guys just being completely scammed and just like messaged by bots. It was crazy.
Also, I found the part about the founder, Noel, to be very interesting. I obviously thought he was a shady character because he literally was running Ashley Madison, but I didn't realize that his wife played such a part in like kind of the marketing of it. And she would go on talk shows with him and, you know, talk about how she supported it and that they have a monogamous relationship, but, you know, this service is a need in society, whatever. And then, of course, come to find out, he was also stepping out, soliciting women on the site. Young women too, like
very young. He would like order 18-year-olds basically from like madams wherever he was living. Yeah, super gross, and honestly anyone should have been able to predict that. Just like anyone should have been able to predict there were barely any real women on the website. What did you think about the Christian pastor, not pastor, but the Christian YouTuber?
Well, first of all, I thought they were Mormon at first because he used like the phrase the atonement.
Oh, interesting.
Which is like common. It's very common to like talk about Jesus dying for your sins as the atonement in Mormonism, but also that's true in Christianity. So I definitely thought they were Mormon at first, but they were not. Unfortunately, he was just like the biggest cliche of like a guy who is pretending to be extremely righteous and stalwart, but who has all of these demons. And I just like, I felt really sad for them. And also the fact that their whole life was already on display because they were vloggers. And to be so bold that you would just get on video and lie and just be like, just a bold face. Like, I can't imagine like having this podcast and just literally looking into the camera and fully lying and thinking that somehow that was going to pan out for me.
No, exactly. I also just could not believe that his wife stayed with him because so basically this guy, he's very handsome. He's this Christian guy. He gets married. He's like, says she's the love of his life, all this stuff. And like, in the documentary, he's like, but then I had this temptation, you know, my life was kind of boring. And so I had this temptation to sign up for this site. I worked as a nurse. I would go on it online, like at the hospital, basically during like slow night shifts or whatever. And then he says that he never met up with anyone. And it was funny. He was like, I didn't go on it because I was like, had a high libido. I think I was just craving excitement because I never met anyone. Then you fast forward in the documentary and he's like, oh wait, actually, he like ends up revealing to his wife that not only did he cheat on her, but he had been like cheating on her and screwing around from the very beginning. And I can't fathom how you could stay with a guy who's like, I've actually been a totally different person the entire time we've been together.
And the fact that he was like approaching her good friends. They're good friends. And that good friends had like denied him and then kind of like ghosted or like phased out of their life then because they obviously were like, you know, something weird is going on there. Honestly, though, like they maybe are each other's cup of tea, like the Frozen singing. Like they scratch an itch for each other. Like that maybe is hard to find. They talk about how their first video to go viral was them like lip syncing in the car, like Love is an Open Door. And they like practiced it a ton. And that was like something that really bonded them to each other.
We just had so much fun memorizing these Disney lyrics, practicing in bed. And anyway, I was just like, these people, honestly, not to Justin Sylvester or whatever his name is, Justin Anderson, but these people are the biggest dorks. And maybe they do scratch the biggest itch for each other. But man, oh man, I can't imagine.
Well, is Ashley Madison still up and running?
I don't think so.
Okay. I was just curious. Or is there anything else like it? I find the whole thing to be sickening. I'll take the moniker of Serena Joy as I say that I think this website and any website like it is disgusting.
Speaking of disgusting things, I think we should get into the P. Diddy of it all for a moment.
Yes.
Before we proceed to lighter fare. Chandler and I, we saw the footage. I'm sure everyone's seen it, where P. Diddy, you can visibly see him assaulting Cassie. This is hotel footage. She's running down a hallway trying to escape from something, and then you see him run after her, and then you see him assault her. So anyway, it is one of the most disturbing videos I've ever seen. The video is absolutely horrific. It's heinous. To me, what's sickening about this, like, I don't care about his stupid apology on Instagram when he literally outright denied her claims, said it was completely false, has said anyone who's accused him of anything has been out for a cash grab. I'm sorry, I don't give a shit about anything this guy has to say. And I hope that there's some way to literally have him go to jail. Like, he should go to prison. Can you explain to me why are the statutes of limitations up? Like, how do we have video footage of him assaulting someone and he just walks free? That's my question.
Also, I'm not doing this to be gratuitous, but assaulting almost like doesn't even like cover what you even see, because he literally like kicks her while she's on the ground. Like, it is like a full-blown kick. It's all terrible, but it is like extremely violent and graphic. And the fact that she's literally trying to escape, I think, maybe he was asleep or in the shower. Like, she's kind of creeping away in this hotel hallway. And then you see him like 10 or 15 seconds later come around the corner. He's only wearing a towel, run after her, grab her. Anyway, just like really, really tough stuff to watch. Yeah, he should be behind bars. This is a man who deserves to be in prison and in jail for his crimes. I saw a tweet that had a photo of P. Diddy, his apology video, and it said, "This background looks very unextraditable because it's clearly somewhere tropical. I don't know why he's not behind bars. Clearly that process is being delayed, or because of the lawsuit. I don't know. It doesn't make sense." It makes me really sad that the best we're getting in terms of justice here is an apology video on Instagram. That to me feels really unfair. And it's sad. I guess on a slightly happier note, Cassie is like with this guy named Alex Fine, who actually used to be P. Diddy's trainer. And he's seems amazing. He like ran a whole like marathon or race for victims of domestic violence.
Wow.
And so anyway, just like they look really happy. He seems like an amazing guy. He has like this really hot Phantom of the Opera scar across his face.
Sexy.
So yeah, anyway, I'm happy for her that she seems to like have found someone really great. And, I literally hope he's thrown in prison. I hope P. Diddy is thrown in prison. But it probably won't happen.
Also feel like it probably feels so good for her to have people know what really went down. Like regardless of whatever happens to him, it has to be so important for her, for people to like know the truth about what he did to her. So right. I guess I'm like happy for her. Feels like the wrong thing to say, but sort of happy for her in that way as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of validation in having, her having to have kept this a secret for so long, or, been under the shadow of everything. And now everyone's seeing what a monster he is.
Absolutely. On another topic, have you watched Baby Reindeer?
No. I've heard it's really dark, so I feel like I'm just kind of avoiding it, but I've heard it's also very entertaining.
I would say it's dark, but I don't think it's unmanageable whatsoever. For me, like I maybe just kind of like closed my eyes through a few scenes and didn't really want to see things completely. But I think it's so good. The story is so good. The fact that it's a true story, the fact that the guy who actually had this happen to him plays the main character. It is so good. And also it's only 30 minutes. Like the episodes are only 30 minutes. So it just goes at a steady clip. And it's super entertaining from the jump. So I highly recommend it to everyone. I kind of want to do a Baby Reindeer deep dive. So also let us know if that's something you're interested in.
I was wondering if it was kind of like Don't F with Cats.
Oh,
like,
no,
is it that level of dark? Because that's what I've been thinking is that it's like that, which was like, I saw that and I was like, I don't know why I'm putting this story in my brain. Why is this story now in my brain?
No.
Sadly.
Not even close. Don't F with Cats. That was, first of all, contained animal abuse, and it contained like a horrific murder of like actual people. And there is sexual assault in Baby Reindeer. So that's definitely depicted. So that is a thing. But it's not the same thing as someone being like stabbed to death with an ice pick. That's a real like person, you know?
Yeah, I think too, Don't F with Cats was like really grim and felt very twisted and sick. I don't know. It's sad that we live in a world where it's like, it's not as sick as this other sick stuff, but thank you for it. I'm glad you could put it into perspective.
Yeah, the tone of Baby Reindeer is like kind of funny, I would say, for a lot of it.
Okay.
It's kind of like bizarre and hilarious and like
got it.
The tone of Don't F with Cats I felt like was very eerie and like scary. Speaking of something else that's scary that I'm dying to talk to you about, Chandler. Everyone saw the pictures of Taylor and Travis on Lake Como. It's old news at this point. Don't worry. We're not going to debrief about that. We're happy they went on a date. Gorgeous. But no one talked about what I want to talk about with these photos really quickly. And I even sent something in our group chat about it and no one responded. So I need you to pull up our group chat and I need you to, I'll actually just send you these pictures. Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The hickey?
No, above the hickey. Okay, go to the part where I said, by the way, Taylor deserves better than this. Tap on the picture of them at lunch or at dinner, excuse me. They're at a beautiful dinner, everyone. There is sterling silver figurines on the table. There's 3 wine glasses per person. Okay, it looks like china. They're eating off fine china. They have Lake Como in front of them. Okay, Chandler, go to the next picture where I crop in.
Slides. He's wearing slides.
He is wearing open-toed sandals to this fine dinner.
They're on a casual vacay. I mean, Taylor doesn't dress the best herself, so I just don't think she cares. I don't think this bothers her. But I agree. I don't like this. I don't like a man in slides.
There is no excuse for this. First of all, we have no confirmation that these are slides. Chandler, these could be straight up sandals, okay? Well, just open-toed sandals. No, I think toe hair is exposed.
I mean slides in the sense that there's just one strap that goes, the toes are exposed. Like
literal
Nike slides or something.
Oh, I know the meaning of slides, but I'm glad you painted a picture for our listeners. Chandler, I don't know that these are slides. It's very fuzzy. These could just be sandals.
These could be like reef sandals.
These could literally be San Clemente Dad flip-flop reef sandals. At which point, literally, kill him, throw him in Lake Como. Okay? Get Robert Durst on the case. He knows how to get rid of a body in a lake. Like, I'm sorry. It is a crime to wear these to dinner, to a fine, gorgeous Italian dinner with the most beautiful, talented girl in the world.
If these are flip-flops, my ick is fully back.
If these are flip-flops, we have Mitt Romney flip-flopped again on this relationship.
That was excellent.
Like, what is happening here? It makes me so upset. Anyway, I've been fuming about this ever since these photos hit the scene. And why is no one talking about it?
He wears that like grid black and white checker sweater on like the boat ride that they took. That also was kind of horrific for me. It literally reminded me of like the teen brand at Target. Like I think it's called like Wild Gina or something, Wild Fable. It's literally giving like the teen section at Target.
Listen, we want Taylor and Daddy Travis to work out. We really do. We think he's going to jump around and throw kids in the pool. You know, we think that he's going to be a great dad. But we need him to live up to her. I was just about to say in a fashion sense, but maybe that's exactly what he's doing with these shoes.
That's exactly what he's doing. This is the problem. She doesn't necessarily command a better fashion sense. Wait, did you see
better style?
Did you see the photo I sent of Joe? Speaking of terrible fashion on straight men.
Okay. So Joe Allen leaving the airport at Cannes or coming to the airport at Cannes. Who knows? He looks like he is in a pair of, honestly, like women's
jeans.
Zara jeans.
Yes.
Women's Zara jeans and hiking shoes.
I know that's a look right now is to do like tennies, like hiking shoes with a jean, but his is all wrong. I think that the cut of the jeans is like he's wearing like high-waisted jeans. He should be in a low rise, in my opinion. He's going to wear those types of shoes. And then he's wearing a salmon colored polo and then a Bottega looking knotted rope bag. It's bad. It was like, ugh. I'll almost take flip-flops over this.
the worst part about this look is that you can tell this was an intentional fit. Like, at least with Travis's look, they could have been literally having so much sex and it had gotten past the point when their dinner reservation was, and they were like, fuck, like, we gotta go. And he literally could have just slipped on those slides as they ran outside, because they had to be in time or they would lose their reservation, because that happens to Taylor Swift. Whereas you can tell Joe prepared for this pep walk. And this is one of the most devastating, sartorial moments I have seen for a male in a minute. We'll have this posted on the video version, everyone, so you can also, unfortunately, bear witness to what we're seeing here. But damn, it's not a way to, make him miss her. Or make her miss him. That's for sure.
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, I'm glad we lightened the mood after, don't F with cats. Let's proceed to Chandler. Oh, well, I mean, are we going to talk about Kate Middleton? Okay, Chandler and I have a question, everyone. When is it appropriate to worry about Kate Middleton again? That's our question. Chandler really wants to restart our series.
I have part 38 actually already recorded, ready to go. Right next to our the cake that we made with 300,000 followers on it. I'm ready to unlock those again.
I think with each 1,000 followers we lose, we should just keep doing cakes. That actually could be so funny. Like a photo for 255,000 once we get there, and then a new photo for 235 or whatever, wherever we end up landing at. Anyway, so funny. It just seems to me like they said she'll be back after Easter. Easter came and went. They said after a school holiday, that came and went. Remember, they said that she would not, they took her off the roster of who would be attending Trooping the Color in June. So now June is aggressively approaching. It's 9 days away as we record this. So now it's becoming abundantly clear she will not be in attendance, most likely. If she's not at Trooping the Color and there's zero explanation and there's no update, I am just going to be a little perturbed, personally.
I think as well, we're getting non-update updates. So, for example, I was just doing a quick Google this morning, and a headline from The Independent was, Kate Middleton gives update on project as she continues cancer treatment. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did I miss this? But really, it was just a video posted on their Instagram. What is it? Kensington Royal Instagram. That's her and Williams. And it was just about their foundation. That's all about some type of altruistic project about I think families and work in the workforce. I don't know. I didn't do my research on that part.
So I saw that as well. I saw the headline was the Princess of Wales returns to Instagram. I'm like, what?
Yeah, literally.
With her husband. I'm like, what? A photo together. So excited. I go to her Instagram and it's what they mean by that is she, I guess, took part in the video they created about farmers in the UK. And anyway, she's credited as being, some sort of, contributor to this video, but she has not returned to social media. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, the headline's very misleading. It starts off by saying, an excited Princess of Wales has given her first major project update since the beginning of her cancer treatment. Her Royal Foundation Business Task Force for Early Childhood has released a new report today. And that's it. And it says palace sources have confirmed that the report has been viewed in full by Kate from home. And a spokesperson said the work of the Prince and Princess's project is always on. And early childhood is a huge priority for the princess. And so she has been kept fully updated throughout the development of the task force work. And she has seen the report.
Okay, so it's total clickbait. There's no reappearance. She's not back to social media. And so anyway, I think we are kind of concerned. I put in our broadcast channel, which you can join, everyone. If you go to our Instagram, basically what you do is you go to our profile, and then underneath where it says our follower account, it'll say Pop Apostles 9.5K members. Tap on that, you can join, and it's where we're kind of having the conversation about what is going on with her right now. And I think the consensus in this group chat we were basically having was something is seriously amiss, because it doesn't make sense that King Charles in his 70s has cancer and he has done a few engagements. He's been seen. He's out and about a little bit. And the Princess of Wales is still fully invisible.
And something else that doesn't add up is Prince William was asked about her a couple weeks ago during an engagement. So he visited a community hospital in Southwest England, and an administrator at the hospital was giving him a tour, and she said, "May I ask how Princess Kate is doing?" And William responded that, quote, "Kate is doing well," which doing well is a positive thing to say. Is like, sounds like they're well enough to potentially be photographed.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I really consider about this is people who have cancer, especially early stage where it's only preventative chemo, they're not on their deathbeds, right? They're not bedridden. They're not on bed rest. They can go about their lives. Like, they can still go out. They can still, they may not be running a marathon, but they are still living. And so it's so strange to me that we can't see her at all, or she's not being seen at all. She's doing I'm not saying not going back to work. I don't need her to be cutting ribbons at hospitals, but like that there's not even a stray paparazzi photo of her, that she's just still sequestered away at Windsor.
And I think if maybe Prince William was asked this question and he didn't want to give, a misleading answer, I think he could have said, she's so strong, something like that, where it's it's a positive sentiment, but it's not necessarily like denoting her health.
She's working on her recovery every day, and she has a great support system around her, and we just really appreciate, your support. I mean, honestly, get us on those fucking walk meets or whatever they're called. Meet walks, cute walks.
Meet cute.
Could be such
good
royals. Whatever, wherever they go and shake the hands. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for being here today. Anyway, we could do a great job, I think. If we were lobbied questions about Kate, we could do a really good job BSing. And it's shocking to me that he said she's doing well, because that would lead us to believe that she could be visible.
Yeah, right. And we're both very wary of getting into hot water with this again, but I do think, when are we allowed to ask a question again? When are we allowed to just, have our antennas up again, not trying to be disrespectful or like prevent her from healing in peace, but things are once again just feeling suspicious. That's all.
Well, and I personally feel like they have basically, with the announcement, they've made it so that if you raise suspicions, if you talk about this in a really public way, like we're talking about on the podcast, this is a low-key conversation. This is not a reel that a million people might see.
Right.
And so I think this is very different than restarting the series, but they make it seem like if you really go after this topic again, you're basically like harassing a cancer patient. So no one's going to do that. Literally, no one's going to question anything. So we have had a tip come in that she's at MD Anderson in Houston, and someone said that they have shut down a wing for her. And at first I was like, okay, this is crazy. I got a screenshot of a text message that was like talking to someone's dad, and the dad works there, and is like, yep, she's here. Like, they shut down a wing for her, etc. It's in our email. And I put that tip in our broadcast channel, and someone said, and I think very aptly, like, if she was, first of all, they said MD Anderson is where they treat people that are really far along in their disease. And it's not a good situation. And it's where they're doing like experimental stuff, and really they're on the cutting edge of stuff. And basically they said, like, they're not going to shut down a wing for anybody. No one gets a wing of that hospital shut down. Like, sure, maybe a room or two, but not a wing. And so that was highly suspicious. Yeah, I guess I wonder, like, what's really happening? Like, is she there? Why would they fly her all the way to the US? Like, is MD Anderson really like the place to go? Is there nowhere in the UK that she can get world-class treatment at?
Yeah, just like it feels odd. And if she's at MD Anderson and William is saying she's doing well, that also feels extremely misleading.
Yeah, it seems extremely misleading if she's in the US getting cancer treatment and it's very serious. I think that there's two options right now. I think that it is really serious, and that's why we haven't seen her. She's potentially like far enough along where chemotherapy is physically, evident, and she doesn't want to be seen having lost some hair or whatever it is. Or I think that maybe, it's something between the two of them, and maybe there'll be some sort of announcement at some point. So who knows? But I think it's still weird to me that he was not in the video.
Yeah, it's still weird. So we'll just keep our eyes open, I guess. Ear to the ground.
Yeah, ears to the ground. Go to our broadcast channel if you want to be in on that chat where, we're kind of posting all the tips that come in about Kate. Well, speaking of another couple, Chandler, we should move to American royalty, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
So this is according to Page 6, but Ben Affleck has come to his senses about his failing marriage to Jennifer Lopez and knows they're headed for a divorce, a source tells Page 6 exclusively. If there was a way to divorce on grounds of temporary insanity, he would. He feels like the last 2 years were just a fever dream, and he's come to his senses and now understands there's just no way this is going to work. Ben and Jennifer first sparked split rumors when she attended the 2024 Met Gala solo earlier this month, despite serving as one of the exclusive event's co-chairs. Upon further examination, fans realized that they had not been photographed together in more than a month. They made sure to be spotted attending his child Serafina's school play together last week. However, the sighting did not lessen fan concern about their marriage, as Jennifer has liked recently an Instagram post about unhealthy relationships. So the Instagram post says it's an infographic by an account called Your Courageous Comeback. Okay. And it says,
J-Lo, what are you doing following these accounts or liking a photo from this account? Okay.
The quote is, "You cannot build a healthy relationship with someone who is disconnected from themselves." Okay. In addition to her liking this Instagram post, sources told Page 6 that Ben has been house hunting around Los Angeles and living separately from Jennifer. Thoughts, Chandler?
It's my greatest mystery. Life's greatest mystery to me is, are these two people actually in love? Is it real? I wake up every morning on that quest and fall asleep every night, unpacking that question.
Search, pondering, and praying.
I think what's crazy to me is that the tip from Page 6, like, that is a pretty scathing thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
That it was a fever dream and he's finally come to his senses. It's like, and I guess I can't imagine that he would say that about her in the press, or that he would actually have that type of thing leaked, because that just seems way too cruel. So that I don't buy.
When these tabloids print stuff and they have a source, generally they do have someone who knows something. They don't invent things out of thin air. Maybe some do, but I think that when they say they have a source and they quote a source, I think there is some integrity behind that. It's not like Dumois, just getting random tips. What I think is interesting about this is, if I look at his last relationship before Jennifer, before J-Lo, I think of Ana de Armas. And I think about all their pap walks during COVID. And I think this guy is no stranger to a PR relationship. In fact, that's exactly what he was doing with Ana de Armas, it seems like.
Right.
It seems like he was really trying to help her launch her career, and that was a mutually beneficial, but mostly for her, PR relationship, specifically because they would go on walks where they would be photographed. And honestly, if Kate Middleton should teach us anything, it's that if a celebrity or public figure doesn't want to be seen, they can go unseen. They can absolutely go unseen. So the fact that he was doing all those pap walks with Ana de Armas during COVID, it makes me wonder, was the relationship with Jennifer motivated from a stay relevant, stay famous, point of view? We know J-Lo loves being famous, is addicted to the fame. And was it a mutual thing of this could be really good for our careers?
Yeah, I've definitely thought about that. I also think they're kind of perfect for each other. I think someone said this on Reddit, but it was don't they both seem like a lot of work, but in different ways? So even if it was PR inspired or motivated, I think that they work. To me, in my opinion, they work as a couple way more than him and Jennifer Garner ever did. And I also think that all of this news about, are they together? Are they on the brink of divorce? Whatever, could also still be just more PR muck.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. It's maybe this separation rumor is all part of the rumor mill. Maybe, I'm playing checkers over here and Chan's playing 5D chess.
Per usual.
But I don't think J-Lo wants those. Yeah, per usual. I don't think J-Lo wants those rumors. I think about how miserable he looked on their honeymoon, and now I'm just calling all of this into question. How real, honestly, any of this has been, at least on his end.
He has a resting miserable face. I don't have a great resting face, but his is really tough as well.
Yeah.
I think I was talking about this with a friend, and she brought up how he, you know, appeared in her documentary that was just like, obviously, I don't know if you saw any of the press about it, but it was just totally cringe and terrible. And she was just saying, like, he's a filmmaker himself. And I don't know that he would have just appeared in that just for PR reasons. I feel like that's something you would do potentially out of love, or like, yeah, I'll appear in your kind of like cringy documentary.
Interesting.
So I thought that was like a good point, that maybe like there is real love there.
Is that the greatest love story never told, that documentary? Is that what it's called?
Is that what recently came out? She just like had this whole documentary that was just, or like film kind of thing about her music. So maybe it was that?
It's the greatest love story never told. It's behind the scenes with Jennifer Lopez as she independently produces a new album that explores her 20-year journey to self-love. Wow. The greatest love story never told is about J-Lo finding love for herself. I mean, it's Anne Hathaway, I'm sure, is weeping every second during that film. Seems right up her alley.
You'd have to really love someone to appear in that.
To appear.
It's pretty damn cringe.
No, that actually is so true. So I guess this will remain a mystery, but obviously we'll be watching. Another piece of news that I'm dying to talk to you about is this plane incident. Okay.
I know.
Which is so crazy to me. Okay, so basically what happened is this plane, a Singapore Airlines jet, it hit severe turbulence. And so this is what the article reads. It says a 73-year-old British man was killed and more than 30 other passengers were injured after a Singapore Airlines Boeing flight hit severe turbulence Tuesday, plunging 6,000 feet and sending unrestrained travelers crashing into overhead bins. The Boeing 777-300ER jet, carrying 211 passengers and 18 crew members, was headed to Singapore from London when it was forced to make an emergency landing in Bangkok at 3:45 p.m. Singapore Airlines offers its deepest condolences to the family of the deceased, the airline said in a statement. We deeply apologize for the traumatic experience that our passengers and crew members suffered on this flight. The identity of the passenger has not yet been released. So this is a quote from someone who was on the flight. A 28-year-old student on the flight said, suddenly the aircraft started tilting up and they were shaking. So I started bracing for what was happening. And very suddenly there was a very dramatic drop. So everyone seated and not wearing a seatbelt was launched immediately into the ceiling. Some people hit their heads on the luggage bins overhead and dented it. They hit the pieces where lights and masts are and broke straight through it. This sounds so horrific and so traumatic to go through. Obviously, someone died.
I think also the free fall lasted for like a couple minutes or something.
What?
I think the free fall wasn't like,
it wasn't like 4 seconds.
So after around 11 hours of flying time from takeoff in London, the aircraft hit an air pocket and sharply dropped 6,000 feet in 5 minutes. So I guess I don't know if it was a 5-minute free fall or what, but like 6,000 feet is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so
terrible.
The free fall lasted 5 minutes?
It just says the aircraft sharply dropped 6,000 feet in just 5 minutes, causing chaos in the cabin. Oh my gosh. Like the photos too of the overhead like bins just fully like, oh my gosh.
But do you see the dents? Like those are from people's heads. Mm-hmm. There's huge dents in the overhead bins from people's skulls hitting them. I am such a person that's like, always wear your seatbelt on a plane. Like you never know if you hit severe turbulence. And I honestly always picture like basically going up into the ceiling. I don't know why. Do you picture that?
No, it's actually not something I'm super fearful about and something I'm not super vigilant about, but now I am going to be, hands down. Like, no, because we've heard turbulence before, but I've never thought that you could die from turbulence if the plane didn't crash. Like you could die from like being launched upward. Of course that makes sense, but I had never really fully considered that.
I've always kind of, especially like if you're in the restroom or if you're walking and you're vulnerable and you're not seated and you don't have your seatbelt on, like literally if something happens and the plane has to make any sharp moves, like your body could be lodged in any direction. It's so terrifying. And it's just another reminder, like put on your seatbelt. If the seatbelt sign goes on, put it on. Anyway, yeah. I just feel so bad for obviously the wife of the man who died and obviously the deceased and anyone who went through this traumatic event. It's so scary.
It's really, really scary. So everyone, please wear your seatbelts. You never freaking know. It's very scary.
Okay, well, apart from our safety warnings, I think we should get to some question and answer because I put up a post with some anonymous Q&A and we've gotten some good questions. Okay, so someone says, this is morbid and I pray this is not the case, but do you think William will remarry if it's the worst case for Kate? Seems like the firm would want a queen. He would definitely remarry. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone wants to know if we get a lot of hate from the Mormon community.
No, I don't think we get like any.
I shield you from the death threats we get daily due to our content that enrages the Mormon religious community. No, I mean, we barely talk about Mormonism.
I think we actually have a good deal of Mormon listeners. So I don't think that we like poke that bear very often. And I also don't think, I think too, we've been pretty respectful about it. And I don't think we like piss people off.
Honestly, I also think we've moved on as people from that. It's not something where we're like, oh, we talk to each other about it because we can't talk about it on the podcast. I mean, we talk about Mormonism probably 5% more together than we do on the podcast. So we don't really talk about it that much. Will we host a meetup, live show, or vacation? We'll definitely do a live show in New York, most likely in the fall. So hopefully September is the goal.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed. Okay, so this is actually a very funny question. Someone said, thoughts on Botox/toxins? Ariel Lori scared me from it and I need it. So I think it's okay to talk about this because she's been very open about it on her public podcast. But Ariel, who we genuinely adore, she talks about on her podcast that she got botulism from Botox. I saw my 11s fine lines really creeping in, but ever since she's talked about that, I've been so scared. But I just had to go get some. I went and got some like 4 days ago or a week ago. And when I went in, Chandler, I swear I was to the technician or the injector. I was just like, have you ever had anyone who's gotten botulism? Have you ever had anyone whose eye has dropped? I showed her an Instagram video of a girl whose eye had dropped. I was like so terrified. Now I'm petrified of Botox. But like
what did
our
they
sister, she's like, I think people who have that happen, like they get botulism from it, they get it from somewhere outside the United States. I think that was kind of BS. Also, I was like, I'm in Puerto Rico. So I'm like, great.
It's a territory.
It's a territory, but still, it's just kind of funny. Anyway, I was just the most obnoxious Botox patient, but she kind of brushed off both concerns. And she was actually like, she drew on me where exactly she was going to put it. And the place I go to here is better than any place I've been to in Southern California. It's just like so state of the art. So I felt really good about it. And yeah, so anyway, things are normal, but I was very petrified and a very annoying patient when I went in. I do think that it's such like I mean, this is seriously famous last words, but Botox is mainly safe for so many people. Like, so I don't know. I'm not so super worried about it.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to get it. I'm not scared off.
Okay, someone wants to know how often you wash your bed sheets.
Once a week.
Do you wash them more? Yeah, I'm once a week. I was curious if that was like wrong.
Mm-mm.
Someone wants to know, how do you have connections to celebrities like Kate, etc.? Are y'all high society?
We are not any connections.
When I talked about the A-lister in our DMs, that was an A-lister who reached out to us from the content, found us through the content, and reached out to us. This person wouldn't be like a household name, though. They're kind of more like a really big name if you know about this person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I would maybe A-lister is like the wrong word. It's just like a person who's like very up there in these worlds.
I would say this person was in high society. We are not.
Yeah, is very much in high society. So we're very much not, which is why we have a celebrity gossip podcast. I don't think anyone in high society is slinging it for tips on YouTube like us too. Okay, Chandler, this is a question maybe that could be directed for you. Someone wants to know how to stop being a people pleaser. So many of my decisions are rooted in making sure other people are happy. I feel like you've done a 180.
I don't know, get on Zoloft. Like, I do think medication has helped me with people pleasing because I'm not as plagued by thoughts about like, is anyone mad at me? Like, I'm not re-examining every single conversation and every single move I made that day to just like check in about how I could have potentially, not served someone as much. I guess I still do that a little bit, but I don't do it as much. I don't know. Getting older, actually, honestly, having some enemies or having people not like us. I think the Kate Middleton thing also put us through a little bit of a refiner's fire where it's like, yeah, not everyone's going to like me. And I'm actually okay with that. And I don't know that I was okay with that before the Kate Middleton stuff.
Yeah, I feel like you have turned out to be surprisingly tough when it came to all of that. And you
Surprisingly.
Yeah, no offense. Yeah, like you're a pretty sensitive girl and like kind of softer, I would say, than me. And I feel like when I have been concerned about an angry DM or something someone has said, you've been like, who cares? Like literally, who cares? So that cocktail of approaching your 30s in Zoloft is really hitting correctly.
I think I really realize how much mental energy is spent worrying about are other people mad at me. And I'm just like, I'm not going to give that person or that demon in my head any more energy. I don't want to. I don't care. And I just know that I can't make everybody happy. And once again, the biggest lesson of all, people aren't thinking about you. Stop being in your head because people are actually not thinking about you. And if they are, that's their problem. But people really are not thinking about you. Like I literally used to think, this is a funny aside, but like Wyatt, our wonderful brother-in-law, I used to like be kind of worried that he was always mad at me because like in college I would come over to their house and like hang out for a while, eat their cereal. And he also just wasn't a person who ever showed, like he was never upset. And so I just thought he was always constantly like harboring some type of negative emotion towards me, which is just like hilarious. And now it's become like a running joke. But like, I don't know, just like literally people aren't thinking about you. And if someone's not expressing disapproval, it doesn't mean that they're just like harboring it secretly.
Exactly. And I think that also being a person, if you have boundaries and you have ways you won't permit for other people to treat you, and you say no to people because you need to prioritize yourself and how you feel, and that makes someone like not want to be around you, then that's like a relationship that I think needs reevaluation. So
yeah.
Anyway, okay, I think that's probably a good wrap up for the ep. Chan, thanks so much for being with me here today. We'll be back on Patreon on Friday. I'm so excited because we have VPR reunion part 2. We have the Valley finale. We have a lot more anonymous questions. I think that'll be a fun episode. We'll get into probably some celebrity hot topics as well. Thank you, Chandler.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
That's all for now, folks. Don't forget, give us a 5-star review, hit us up on Instagram at Popapologists, and we will see you next week, live every Wednesday.